Good evening sa mga kababayan kong Pilipino. Nandito na naman tayo this short period. Nandito yun si Press Secretary, nandito si General Galvez, General Lorenzana, General Anyo, Secretary Extraordinary Carlos Dominguez III, Bongo, beyond compare, the most active. Alam mo, trust is not, it's not press release. Si Secretary Doki po, nakita ko na siya kasi nagtrabaho rin ako kay President Gloria Arroyo noon. Ako yung consultant for public order and security. And I used to come here in Malacanang whenever we are called. Nakita ko to si Secretary Doc in the many meetings that we had. Nakita ako siya nagtatrabaho. Ngayon nagtatrabaho yung tao. Noon ako nakita na incompetence. Hindi ko siya kunin na secretary again for the second time under me na Secretary of Health. Itong COVID na ito, kaya nga pandemic eh. Nobody but nobody dito sa mundong ito was really or were prepared for it. Yung pandemic, it comes about once in a century. Kaya walang hospital, magawa ka ng limang hospital in anticipation of the next. Hindi ganun yan eh. Yung sakit na ordinaryo, then you make your actuarial computation, maybe how many. Yun yung sa insurance, yun actuarial. Sila yung mag-compute kung ilan ang mamatay, ilang flu coming in, tapos ilang H1N1. Pero hindi natin akalain na in 2 days' time after the warning was given by the WHO na it is a virulent, fast-moving microbe, and we were all advised to take precautions. Me here, I immediately convened the IATF right there, and then we organized ourselves into a working body to deal with the problem. Wala tayong preparation na ganito. Now, yung general quarantine talaga lahat. Ang Maynila and the rest of the greater Manila area, there was a substantial compliance. I wouldn't say that there was no violation. There were violations, but not in a scale I saw in other places. Na kamong mga Cebuano, masuko mo ingon ko gahi mo ulo. Actually, ayaw mo ka-insulto kay Cebuano ko. I am a Cebuano. I come from Danao, Cebu. Ka mga Bisaya talaga, baski sa Davao, yung mga Bisaya doon, ang titigas talaga ng ulo, hindi mo pasunod. Yan ang totoo. Yan talaga, prangkahan ko kayo. Magalit kayo, masuko muna ako. Di masuko, pag ninyo. Sinabi na eh. And I could, do not F with me. Because nanonood ako ng government stations. Kinukuha lahat yung Talisay. Talisay was like a marketplace every day. Nagiinuman ka dyan, nagsusugal. Almost nonchalant of the dangers that were rolling around. Ayaw ninyong maniwala. Ngayon kita, bakit marami? Well, one of the reasons, really, I would say, even without consulting the body, because you did not follow rules. Hindi ganun karami yan. You have the highest. Cebu is now the hotspot for COVID. Bakit? Wala mong sunod eh. Marami sa inyo hindi sumunod. Kaya huwag ninyo akong magalit-galit kayo sa akin. Look, I am here to run government. I'm not here to stay forever. As a matter of fact, I am on my last 2 years. God, you better shape up. I would not. Hindi ako man kasi Bisaya tayo that you'll have a special place in this. Tingnan mo nangyari now you have a total of 37,514 confirmed cases. On the last 2 days, ito na yung may tests, 858. Sa bagay, ang recoveries, baka karamihan ito Bisaya rin kasi hindi tumatalab yung coronavirus. Tigas talaga siguro, pati baga. Matigas na yung ulo. Sabi ko sa actually, you want me to say what I feel? I am sad and I am para akong nawalaan ng hangin dito. We have now total deaths of 1,266. Cases reported today, 1,008. So, that is where the numbers are. Sana kung mag-ano lang kayo, naniwala ka. You know, Manila and its environs, maraming tao. But because sumunod sila with few violations thereabout, we here in Manila had a good chance of at least avoiding it. But the problem is we are going out of to the provinces in the coming days. Kasi hindi ko naman matiis na may mangyayari tapos nandito lang ako sa Pasig. Kasi kung maglabas ako dyan sa harap ng opisina ko, yung building, nandito ako sa kabila on late afternoons when the sun begins to set. Lumalabas ako dyan sa riverbank, then I inhale fresh air. So, ang Pasig mismo does not give you any relief. So polluted. I don't know why. I decided to disband the Pasig Commission. The Pasig Commission and allied agencies doing the same work. It is better done by General Simato. At least nalinis niya yung, at least yung basura. Not really clean, because you cannot wash with water. You wash and wash. Water cannot wash water. Unless you have, other things there. Filtration and everything. But yung, nawala na yung basura na, or we're just swimming with like a flotsam. Kaya ganun ang nangyari sa atin. But we will try to, I sent General Simato there, not to take over. He is not a medical man. Not to do anything but just to observe and do the critical thinking. Tapos, kung ano ang nakita niya, pagbalik niya, magsabi siya, baka kulang dito, kulang doon. But for the things that we can really afford, and which we had at the time of the outbreak, okay man tayo. But yung sabihin mo di sheer number, epidemic is local, national yan. Pandemic is, it traverses boundaries. The whole of the planet Earth yan. So walang preparado dyan. America is suffering anong tawag nitong, parang nag-relapse. And they are having problems now, this time in Florida. China also had a relapse. And some other countries, Brazil, as I have in the past said that itong Brazil, I've been to Brazil, maraming tao. Tsaka dikit-dikit din ng, just like our Philippines. Sabi ko, pag ganito ito, pag tinamaan yan, delikadong lugar yan. True to my, hindi naman sana, I did not, it was not meant to wish you ill will, but I was just also trying to figure out how it would impact on places like the Philippines, yung ating mga kapatid na sa squatters area. By the way, yung nakita ko sa newspaper kahapon, yung mga gustong umuwi, naghihintay sila ng sarili nilang scheduled flight, or most of them were sleeping outside the buildings there. Andito naman sa Pantalan, nakita ko pinaupo sila. Parang, as I said, our job is to, I am now addressing the body. But that is really intended for all. Most of the mga probinsyano natatakot na magpunta ng airport. Hindi kasi hindi alam kung anong gawin. So, itong airport police, saluin nila, then i-check in ninyo, tulungan ninyo, at hanapan ninyo ng upuan. This Naya, I have not been there for some time. Itong Naya, yung ginagamit ng Cebu Pacific, yun ba yun po? Dati pa rin. Yeah, yung ginagamit noon, yun pa ba rin yun? Yung sumasakay ako. Alam mo, I'd like to call the attention of Secretary Tugadi. Art, alam mo yung airport na yan, kung sino nag-design na yan, gago. Bihin mo sa kanya, walang upuan. Iilan lang ang upuan pagka ang mga flights nagpatong, yung iba nakatindig sa... And what's really worse is that merong restaurant dyan sa labas na malaki. Paalisin mo yung restaurant, lagyan mo ng upuan, kasi yung iba merong mga bata, buntis, walang upuan. Sino ang... Mabuti, nasabi ko, finally, I was once upon a time a mayor and I used to use that exit there, egress going home. Makita mo, walang upuan. Kukunti ang upuan. Tapos pag na-delayed ang flight, putang ina, wala na. Tindigan na lahat. Sa labas may mga restaurant, ang lalayo ng table. Ilan lang man ang gumagamit. Yung may pera lang. May mga on the side, sa tabi-tabi, meron yung mga hamburger. Do not take your dinner there. Hamburger na lang kayo at magpupo kayo dyan sa buwan. O punuin ninyo yung upuan hanggang doon sa dulo ng departure. Kung wala there's no other space, hanggang doon sa departure, yung arrival. Kawawa yung tao. This is a classic case of government. And I must admit, inabot ko ang problema. O di, kasali ako. I'm not washing my hands. This is a failure of government neglect or simply not using. Kasi sino ang gumawa niyan? Maglakad ka pa. You know, it's about 1 kilometer actually. If you make the right turn, if the flight for domestic ata is right, pagpasok mo. 1 kilometro yan. Art, lagyan mo ng silya lahat yan. Yung restaurant dyan, kung ma-terminate mo contracts, terminate them because I need them to seat the passengers waiting. Nandyan lahat eh. Ang pal nga, sa punong-puno, maraming tumitindig. The whole of the Naya 2, yung Naya 1, luma, yung 2, so, ganito na lang. Wala na masyadong gumagamit ng Naya 1. Doon mo na lang pahintayin yung iba. O they can check in there. Tapos, may sakyan man yan. Doon lang sila, when the flight is called for the departure, dalhin na lang sila ng mga tagdo. RTO provide the bus. Kasi I do not think that we are really in parity of the needs. Not in parity with of the needs. Ang services must be in parity of the needs of the people. Yan ang naano ka dyan. 1 kilometro yan. Pagpasok mo. Kung maglakad ka, then may mga restaurant. Ilan lang yan. Yung mga fruit stand, pwede rin. Kung papayag ang quarantine na opisina. So, yun. It has been bothering me the whole night. So, yun ang ko. Butit na alaala ko. let's go back to this COVID. Saan na ba tayo? Magdating tayo nito sa influenza na. Saan na ba tayo doon sa putang inang COVID na to? Cebu. Oo, mga Cebuano, ayaw mo kasuko na ako. Ako gatrabaho lang, ginabadlong tamo ni Adto. Suberbiyo mo eh. Dili tanan. Dili tanan. Pero, naagid sa inyo, tatalisay. Surte mo kayo. Ako'y na mayor talisay. Bukbok tanan. Tang ina ipresa. Kanang presuhan sa talisay, isulod tamo tanan diha. Magsud na. Dili mo mutuo eh. Itong Pilipinas, mahirapan tayong maggalaw. Simple, kasi walang sumusunod. Ngayon may announcement si Secretary Duque. Sir, can go ahead.
Magandang gabi po sa inyo, Mr. President. At ang akin pong iuulat ngayon, Mr. President, ay ang batay po sa rekomendasyon ng IATF at sinang-ayunan po ng ating Chief Overseer ng Pandemic COVID-19 Outbreak Response sa Cebu City, si Secretary Roy Simatu, ay ang Cebu City ay mananatili po siya sa ilalim ng Enhanced Community Quarantine. Ito po yung pinakamahigpit na klase ng ating pong community quarantine. At ang susunod naman po ang GCQ na may kaunting pagluwag sa mga maraming mga pinagbabawal, ang mga sumusunod na mga lugar, ang mga probinsya, ang mga highly urbanized cities and independent component cities, ang NCR, ang Benguet, ang Cavite, ang Rizal, Lapu-Lapu City, Mandaue City, Leyte, Ormoc, Southern Leyte, at sa loob naman po sa Cebu Province, ang mga sumusunod ay sumasailalim sa GCQ, Talisay City, Minglanilla, Consolacion. At matapos po dito, sa dako naman ng MGCQ or Modified General Community Quarantine, ang mga sumusunod po ang sumasailalim sa pangatlong classification na ito. Sa CAR or Cordillera Administrative Region, ang Abra, ang Baguio City, Ifugao, Kalinga. Sa Region 1, ang Ilocos Norte, La Union, Pangasinan. Sa Region 2 po, Cagayan, Isabela. Region 3, Bataan, Bulacan, Nueva Ecija, Pampanga, Angeles City. Sa Region 4A naman po, ang Batangas, Laguna, Quezon, Lucena City. Ang Region 4B naman po, ang Palawan, Puerto Princesa City. Sa Region 5, nasasakupan po dito ang Albay, ang Camarines Norte, ang Camarines Sur, at Naga City. Sa Region 6 naman po ang Capiz, Iloilo, Iloilo City, Negros Occidental, Bacolod City. At sa Region 7, kasama po ang Cebu Province with the exception of the one city and two municipalities na akin pong kaninang binanggit. Kasama din po ang Bohol at Negros Oriental sa Region 8, Tacloban City, Western Samar. Sa Region 9, Zamboanga City, Zamboanga del Sur. Sa Region 10 po, ang Bukidnon, Misamis Occidental, Misamis Oriental, Cagayan de Oro. Sa Region 11 naman po, ang Davao del Norte, Davao del Sur, Davao City, and Davao de Oro. Sa Region 12 naman po ay Cotabato, South Cotabato. Region 13, Agusan del Norte, Butuan City. At sa BARM naman po ay ang Lanao del Sur at Maguindanao. At yung mga hindi ko po nabanggit ay sumasailalim na po sila ngayon sa tinatawag natin pong low risk Modified General Community Quarantine Classification or the rest of the Philippines. So ito lang po ang akin na unang bahagi po ng aking pag-uulat at ang susunod naman po ay patungkol naman sa atin pong COVID-19 updates. With your permission, Mr. President, ay tutuloy ko lang po yung ikalawang bahagi ng akin pong report. Yes, sir.
Before you go into it, may I be allowed to just make a repeat of the para ito yung ACQ, Enhanced Community Quarantine. Ito yung mataas kasi marami na ang taong may infection. And as a matter of fact, we know that the hospitals and everything, they are having a hard time coping up. Ang enhanced community quarantine, Cebu City. Kayo lang. Ang general community quarantine, this is di masyado, is the National Capital Region, Benguet, Cavite, Rizal, Lapu-Lapu City, Mandawi City, Leyte, Ormoc, Southern Leyte. Sa Cebu Province, Talisay City, Minglanilla, and Consolacion. Now, dito sa Modified General Community, ito yung stricto yung local system doon. I will read it from 1 to 14. Makinig kayo, ha? Sa Abra, Baguio, Ifugao, Kalinga. Region 1, Ilocos Norte, La Union, Pangasinan. Region 2, Cagayan, Isabela. Region 3, Bataan, Bulacan, Nueva Ecija, Pampanga, and Angeles City. Number 4, Region 4, Batangas, Laguna, Quezon, Lucena City. Region 4B, Palawan, Puerto Princesa City. Region 5, Albay, Camarines Norte, Camarines Sur, Naga City. Region 6, Capiz, Iloilo, Iloilo City, Negros Occidental, and Bacolod City. Ang Region 7 is Cebu Province, Bohol, pati Negros Oriental. Do not confuse dito Cebu. Yung isa, yung doon sa pinakadulo, pinakamataas, Cebu City. Malaki ang Cebu. Cebu City lang ang kasali. Nagsusolo siya. So, Tacloban, Zamboanga, Bukidnon, Davao del Norte, Davao del Sur, Davao City, Davao de Oro. And Region 12 is Cotabato and South Cotabato. Region 13, which is really sa Caraga ito, Agusan del Norte at Butuan lang. Ang Sabarn, Lanao del Sur and Maguindanao. Ngayon, dito sa panghuli, yung Modified General Community Quarantine, that this applies for the rest of the country. O claro, you can take.
Maraming salamat po, Mr. President.
Secretary Sani Dominguez is here to discuss with us how to open up the economy and balance our health and economic objectives.
Thank you, Mr. President.
The Philippines came in with a strong economic fundamentals to address the pandemic. Number one, our growth has been 6.6 on the average, 6.6% per year on the average from 2016 to 2019. It was supposed to be an upper middle income country by this year, prior to COVID-19, but we won't make it. Low to stable inflation. The inflation from 2016 to 2019 has been about 3% on the average, which is exactly where we are predicting, where we wanted it. We were in a strong fiscal position. We had the highest revenue and lowest debt as a percentage of GDP. The the Build infrastructure program doubled as a share of GDP compared to the past 5 decades. We averaged 4.5% of GDP in 2019. On the average was only about 2% for 50 years of GDP. That's spending on infrastructure. We had the highest credit rating ever. We got BBB plus, and in one rating agency, the Japanese rating agency, we are actually A minus. We had the lowest unemployment of 5.3% and underemployment of 14.8% in January of 2020, and the lowest poverty incidence of 16.7% ever in the Philippines, starting on 2018. So you promised when you came into office that we would lift 6 million people out of poverty by 2022. We achieved that in 2018. Our poverty rate when you came in was 23.5%, and by 2018 it was 16.7%. And the dotted lines are what we were projecting. So we have to face the new reality. The reality today is that the virus is not going to go away, and we will have to live with it for a long period of time. So far, that's the story, Mr. President, and I really believe we really should begin opening. You know, you put NCR, Calabar zone, that is where the economy is based. About 60% or 67% of our economy is based on that area. That should move more to the MGCQ as quickly as possible because people have to start working. Of course, for me, if we should monitor it on maybe on a barangay level, and if you know the cases go up, just close it down. But do it on a place to place, and do it also on a company to company basis. So if the company has a big spike, close them down also.
Thank you, Sani. Salamat. Mga kababayan ko, we made this program for you on a regular basis, explaining to you the wherewithals and all of how government is responding to the crisis and how it has also eaten up a lot of over money in the economy. So, alam ninyo, dublado ito. Now, the only thing that can really prevent it is to stop COVID or minimize COVID. Wag na lang sana na madagdagan. And the answer is really up to you. Kung gusto mo magkasakit, lumabas ka. I do not think that I would like the idea of you being picked up and detained for just going out when it is prohibited. It's just a matter of fancy or if it is really an emergency, the law enforcement will understand it. Pero kayo mismo, simple lang ang hinihingi ng gobyerno. Kung maari lang, lalo na sa mga matatanda, wag na ho kayo munang lumabas. Nakita namin na yung mga bata, there's a low rate of young people being infected. Maybe it has something to do with really the constitution of the body. Kagaya namin, sa itong table na ito, wala na masyadong stable ito. Pag nadapuan kami niyan, finish, no more. So, wala na tayong program, ibang format na naman kung saan. Pero hindi na ako. Ang hinihingi lang namin is buhayin mo sarili mo. At ikaw lang ang makagawa niyan. Buhayin mo ang sarili mo at huwag mong idamay ang mga kapwa tao mo. Because if you go out, there's a chance that you get the COVID and then infect somebody else. So, yan and then that is why it's called epidemic or pandemic. Kasi palipat-lipat, pasahan lang. Not really kung may ubo siya. Kung nakatabi kayo tapos asymptomatic siya, tapos you maybe catch the breath, the deep breath of your your neighbor there, your seatmate, baka makuha mo. So, ang the best, lalo na sa mga tatanda, is stay home. Mga bata, stay home rin because you cannot afford the risk of getting sick. Alam mo, totoo lang, maniwala lang kayo sa gobyerno. Hindi na lang para sa amin. If you are really that sick in the mind, well, think of your fellow men. Huwag na lang ikaw, kasi baka ikaw pa ang maging career. So yan na lang, huwag na lang ikaw kung ayaw mo talaga. So yan, stay healthy, tapos avoid crowded places, observe the distance rule. Important, at least 1 meter. Wala na masyadong malapit. 1 meter would be, alam mo, medyo okay na. Kung hindi mo talaga, if you cannot go as far as possible, I think 1 meter away. Pag nag-ubo, tumalikod ka lang. Huwag kang lumapit o umalis ka kaagad. Because then the microbes would be flying in the air and you're bound to get it. May isa dito na madalas akong makatanggap ng complaint. You better shape up. But I'd like you to know that I am ordering now, because the CIDG is listening, and the NBI to investigate you, at ang BIR to look into your finances. Yung mga padala nawawala, tapos yung pagdating pinapalitan, wala ng laman. I am not condemning you now. I am not also insinuating that you are liable or guilty of doing it. It would depend greatly on what is the result of the investigation.
JNT po, sir. JNT.
JMP.
JNT, sir.
JMP.
T, sir. T. Tango, sir.
Ah,
JNT.
GMT. Itong GMT, yung nakita nyo sa TV, yung tinatapon nila yung waste na ng mga basag-basag dyan, mga spoiled or yung kinunan o pinalitan, baka, masyadong marami. Kaya mga Pilipino tuloy, pag magpadala gamitin GMT, trusting that itong mga bagay na ito darating, ang gumagamit pa naman mga ganun, yung mahirap. May padala. It's not really one or two incidents na tinapon ninyo. Hindi masyado yung sa the handling of the cargo. It's the lost cargo or cargo na pinalitan ninyo. As a courier, a company registered as a courier, I would like to, because of the so many complaints, but I will close you down. Sigurado yan. Sasarahan talaga kita, whether you like it or not, after the CIDJ and the NBI would finish their investigation and would point a liability sa inyo. Siguraduhin lang ninyo. And yung lahat naman na may reklamo, go to the nearest, punta kayo sa police, hanapin ninyo yung merong opisina yan ng nakakalat yan. Police agency yan. Sabihin ninyo paturo kayo, then file the complaint there, ang inyong affidavit. At tapos tignan ko, if I'm satisfied na medyo may kalukuhan, sisirahan ko kayo. And I will file charges also. Yan lang siguro, mga kababayan ko. And I said I have brought out the things that are needed to be known today. And I will continue to call the attention of anyone, anyone or yung kompanya mo, if you are not in parity with what you say in public. Yung warranty mo sa public, yung courier na your cargo will arrive safe and sound. Better sabayan mo yan ng sabayan mo ng the standard of parity. Kung anong sabihin mo, yun. Kung hindi kayo kontento, magsumbong kayo. Now again, I would like to remind before I close, si General Anyo, to gather all na naghihintay na walang matulugan, walang matirahan, at nandyan sa labas ng NAIA or whatever sa airport, you will be transported to a place. I will pay. You just bill me. Pati pagkain. Hindi naman pagkain na maghanap lang ng yung mga karinderya dyan kasi baka budget magreklamo. Huwag kayo magkain ng mahal-mahal kay hindi panahon na ito ngayon. We are in a crisis and let us keep our senses close to the ground. So, maraming salamat sa pagkinig ninyo. And, I'd like to thank the people here who spent almost so many hours just listening and giving you the proper advice. Salamat po.